Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see you. So, welcome to the first of our goal setting lives. We're going to be joined by Rachel Roberts herself in a moment. She is a Person Centred Counsellor. She's been on before, so hopefully we'll be able to have a bit of a smoother run this time. We had a bit of a dodgy start when we first. I think Rachel was my second guest that came on originally. We had a nightmare with the live, so I'm just going to invite her to come to broadcast with us now. But I'm really looking forward to this week coming. It's going to be brilliant. We have got so many people joining us and so many different things that I always believe that why I've not said, oh, it's definitely, this is the reason why this is like the way to do it, is because we all think in different ways and our perception of goal setting is all very different. There's times when you're just not ready to set a goal, and sometimes we can be too hard on ourselves and we can run at the goal and miss it, and then we beat ourselves up. So, oh, nice. Thanks, Katie. Hello, you wee poop head. Oh, what you like. So I'm just going to go and get our lovely Rachel on the live. There we go. She's now invited, and hopefully she will be joining us very, very soon. So yeah, we've got Paul Bourne tomorrow morning at 11. We're thereabouts, and he's just going to be talking to us about the gym aspect and other bits and pieces in terms of his goal setting and how he gets motivated and stuff. And then we've got the lovely Emma Shackleton as well. She's coming on. She's doing a bit of life coaching and things like that. But then we also have a very special guest. We have Andy coming on Thursday. There's our Rachel. And he's going to be talking about the struggle with losing his weight. But as you'll see, there was a picture today.
Hey, it worked really well.
We're doing it, aren't we?
It's like smooth as silk now, isn't it? Let's be fair.
You just. Oh. I think because we know it's going to work this time, it's so much better. So I'm just not stressed anymore. Last time there was sweat coming off my face. Oh no, it's not going to work.
I was like moving from my laptop to my phone. I was like, what's going on? It's not working, but it's all fine now, like professionals.
Spot on. Absolutely spot on. But I was just saying, like with Andy, he's going to come on Thursday, and he's going to talk, because I know that we're like very practically married, but there's things that even I don't speak about with him, and I think it's going to be a good opportunity for him to get like what was inside and get it off his chest and talk about his goal for losing his weight. But yeah, so that'll be on Thursday. But yay, we have our lovely Rachel with us. Thank you. Yeah. You're looking gorgeous, by the way. I love the hair colour.
Thanks.
Very pretty.
It's because the light is right next to me. I'm holding my phone, by the way, so I'm sorry if anybody's feeling a bit sick because it's wobbling. I'll try and keep it as steady because I've got like loads of stuff going off in the kitchen. So I thought, you know what, it's going to be too loud if I go anywhere near there. So I'm going to come into this very quiet room and be very peaceful and quiet. So.
And I'm loving the wallpaper as well. It's quite zen, isn't it, behind you? It's very pretty. Yeah. Do you know, that suits you so much because you've done a lot of traveling, haven't you? And that's like you to a T. I really like that.
It's funny because this year when I got here, but I would paper. Yeah, I would definitely choose this. So I love it. It's beautiful.
Meant to be. No, but thank you, Rach. I thought, one of the big things, especially at the moment, is there's a huge shift in the air, and lots of people are waking up and sort of saying that they understand mental health a bit more. It was quite sad actually to realise, but in a way it was very humbling, that I was talking to somebody in their late 70s. They'd not long retired because they just kept on going. They were able to work from home. and they'd ended up going to the doctors and was on antidepressants, and I just thought, wow. But again, I thought, well, good for you, because if you got on them, you're changing, you recognize that there's something wrong and that it's not to be ashamed of. So there was like a mixed emotion. I felt sad for him because he'd been alive so long and worked for so long, and he'd struggled for so long as well. But I just hope that what he's chosen to go on in his path now will help him a lot better.
Definitely. Good for him. Because it's mental health is something that you need to take care of your entire life. It's like your body. You have to look after your body forever for it to be the best it can be. And your mental health is exactly the same. If you're struggling, you could be 5 years old, you could be 50 years old, you could be 90 years old. And knowing that there's a difficulty or something like that and reaching out for help is the strongest thing that anyone can ever do.
Yeah. Absolutely respect you for saying that and totally agree. I really do. There was something that I'm quite happy to share. We worked together and you'd picked up, and it was lovely because it was like, it was almost like you were speaking to me from within, because I was like, somebody sort of mentioning, oh, you're going to hit burnout. And you knew I was already at burnout, but you did it in such a sensitive way that I then started to think, well, no, I've got to look after myself. And can you just share, Rachel, what you shared with me about what the equivalent to burnout is? Because I was like, whoa.
Well, the equivalent of burnout is, they used to call it, no,
Was it like shell shock or
but
something?
yeah, there's one that begins with trench as well, and that was the one I was trying to think of. But yeah, it's essentially shell shock. So people would come back from the army and they didn't know where they were, they didn't know their families, they didn't know their own name half the time. And actually burnout has been associated with shell shock. It's just a different name. So it's incredible really to realize, especially people who are in the helping professions, we can all experience it, but it's a lot more prevalent in the helping professions, because we're giving so much compassion and empathy and ourselves emotionally to other people, so we will experience it highly. Yeah, so that kind of trauma will stick with you. And it, I'm lucky from a counselling perspective because I have a supervisor, and I have a supervisor for my entire career. And this is the person that I will go to and kind of offload everything on. And she's also the person that can turn to me and say, I can see that you're getting to burnout. Maybe we need to discuss this. A lot of other areas in the helping professions don't have supervisors, as you know.
Sorry. We smile.
And I've never understood it, because I've never understood it. So it is one of those things that really,
Rachel, I've got to say it, but it's a money saving exercise. Yeah.
But it should be something that people are offered, and people take up as well, of course, because that's one thing that you find, that if it's offered, it's not always taken up, but at least the offer is there. But in so many professions and so many of the helping professions, that offer isn't there, and people don't have that person saying, you're coming into burnout, you're going to be affected. And people don't realize what burnout is, and we're going off on a bit of a tangent, but when it comes to burnout, it creeps up on you, as you know, and you suddenly start to think, oh, I don't care. And you think that is probably the most upsetting part, because you wouldn't be in that role if you weren't a caring, kind person. And if you start thinking, I don't care, that can really drag you down, and it can actually make you start feeling very depressed, very anxious. And that is a whole nother kettle of fish, because then you start go into that area as well. So it's a very, very dangerous thing, and more people need to know about burnout and the dangers of burnout.
Do you know what, Rach? I think what's really quite prevalent here is that, we can, as human beings, be quite defensive of when people say, oh, why don't you just take a step back? I think we find that as a very negative approach and a personal attack. But actually, I don't know what it was when you were sort of trying to, you did it beautifully, and it was like, actually, do you know what? She's really right. And I've like started to make myself think and thought, well, no, I need to come away from that, and I need to protect myself in this area. And it's okay to listen to somebody. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's not a damaging, a personal attack on you. It's actually helpful at times. It really is. It can be like, oh, don't tell me that. I don't need you to input. But actually, if you just take a step back and go, and
Yeah.
it's that all over again.
Yeah.
It can change your life, because mine is, I'm in such a better headspace now. So, and that's why I think you're like, for me, I trust you so much to give the most like generous and honest advice. So I just love you being on the show. So you know what? Let's talk about goal setting, because I'll end up just giving you a showering of compliments all of this, and we won't get anywhere. Okay.
I'm good with this.
I love it. So, Rach, if somebody was to come to you and say to you, how do I need to set goals, or have you got any ideas on how I can set goals? What would your first approach be with them?
Okay, my first approach would be trying to keep it really, really simple. If any of you have heard of SMART goals, so SMART, so that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, or sometimes achievable, relevant, and time bound as well. So, keeping in mind that, okay, I need to have a goal, but I need to have a very specific goal as well. It's all very well saying, oh, vaguely, I'm going to do this at some point in the future, maybe, possibly, but actually saying, I'm going to do this specific thing by this specific time, it really gets you in that mindset of focus, and then you will push towards that goal. So one of the things that I found, when you're setting goals and things like that, I tend to write them down. I don't necessarily have, but I will write them down. And it's also worth writing down ones that are immediate. So ones in the next few days, next few weeks, sort of short to medium term, so in the next couple of years, and then long term as well, which is kind of 10, 20 years in the future. Because not everything can you get right now. It's impossible. We'd love to. And in kind of society now of, fast pace, wanting everything done now, we do get into that mindset, but it's impossible. Because there are steps you have to take to get to that goal quite often. The other thing is set a goal, but enjoy the process of getting to that goal as well. And I really want to emphasize that, because I kind of do it in the focus of, okay, you want to get to that mountain in the distance. Okay, you're not going to go right from where you are now to that mountain. You have to walk and travel to get to that mountain. On that journey, you're going to be building up your strength. You're going to be recognizing the nature that everything's around you. You're going to enjoy that journey on your way. And then when you get to that mountain, you can really celebrate it, because you're like, okay, I've walked that distance to get to there. You see what I mean?
Absolutely. It's like painting a picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
As you go along, you put in the next thing of the journey. And like for me, I suppose with you saying walk into the mountain, it's admiring the view as well. You don't want to walk with the blinkers on like you see the horses in Blackpool. You want to be able to see your surroundings and revelate in them. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I come from, particularly my dad's side, very academic side. I'm not naturally very academic, but I've had to work hard and put a lot of effort into doing this. So, but I'm 39 now and I have a master's degree. I'm really, really proud of that. But
So you should.
it took me a long time to get here. It took me a long time, a lot of hard work, and there'll be a lot of times that you think, I just want to give up. I just want to give up. You know, there were so many times that I just thought, oh, screw it, I'm just going to quit. And those are the times that you need to kind of think, okay, what is it that I'm looking at? Yeah, okay, right now I'm really struggling. You know, I'm going to use that mountain again. Right now, my feet are really hurting. But how good am I going to feel when I'm at the top of that mountain? And that sometimes you have to really focus on. So there's a couple of kind of things that you can do is, you know, reassess, reevaluate constantly. You know, keep thinking, okay, do I need to go around this bend? Do I need to change my tack just a little bit? Do I need to ask for help? You know, just your goal doesn't mean you can't ask someone to help you out with it. And the other thing is to really remember is they need to be realistic. You know, it's great to have these goals, but I'm never going to be 6 foot tall and Naomi Campbell. Whatever goal I put in is never going to happen. So we need to be really realistic about what we can actually achieve and how we can achieve that. And it's kind of getting started, really. It's the first getting started.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you. I also think as well, like you said, the small goals, that they're really relevant because they're really achievable quite quickly, and it keeps you just on target, doesn't it? Makes you want to get to the next one.
Exactly. And absolutely. And you know, even those big goals, you can think, well, what are the little goals that I can achieve on the way? You know, it's kind of like when I was doing my degree, it's like, oh, I get this essay done. Oh, great, I've done this essay. I get my next essay done. I get my next interview done, etc., you know, and kind of building up the hours of the counselling hours and stuff. I've done my first one. I've done 10. I've done 20, and kind of celebrating all of those little goals in between. And thinking, you know what, I can do this. This is great. You know,
That's amazing. It really is. And do you know, I as I go through my own journey now, one of the big things that my mentor has said to me is that I know you're looking at the bigger picture, Amy, but if we can get it to achieve, then you are looking at the bigger picture, but you're looking at it in a solid foundation as you go along the way. You just keep putting the next brick on top, don't you?
of course it is, absolutely. And you know, another thing about kind of setting goals is never think I'm too old. You know,
Oh, do you know that's dead relevant? Somebody said that today, and I was like, no, yeah.
never, because I mean, I say this a lot, and I say it with love and care, because you know, not everybody kind of has maybe that interest in academia, but it's not always about academia. But I always think the moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying. And that, you know, going and learning about books and things, but it's kind of learning about people, it's learning about countries, it's learning about yourself. The moment that you stop losing, or you start losing that interest, is when you start not wanting to be here anymore. So you know, never think, oh, you know, I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 70, I'm 80. What's the point in having a goal? There's a huge point in having goals all the time. Your life is yours. You don't live it to anyone else's timeline, and I'm really passionate about this. You don't have to get married at a certain age. You don't have to have children at a certain age. You don't have to have a mortgage at a certain age. You don't have to have a career at a certain age. You know, people will change their careers at 40, 50 years old, and that is incredible. So your goals, your timeline. So always remember that. You know, that's really, really important. But
That's gorgeous. Yeah. I'm just thinking, I've seen something today on TikTok, and it was a couple that had absolutely no sort of interest in what they were doing because they didn't know they were going to be good at it. And what they did is they made candles for their wedding, and they made them that well that they went into business making their own candles. So it was just like, wow, that is, you know, just give something a go. Just try it. You know, don't fear it. Just give it a go. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, it's that old saying of, you know, you never regret what you do, you always regret what you don't do. And that is true. You know, try and fail, but one time you are going to win. You are going to get it. You know, the people who made anything, really anything successful, you know, think about the iPhone. How many terrible iPhones there would have been before the first one came out?
Yeah.
Just because it failed the first, second, third, 20th time, it doesn't mean it's not going to work eventually.
What was his name? Rach, he's the one that did KFC. Colonel, can never think of his name. But he literally got knocked back to I think it was 2,000 times when they said that no, we'll buy your recipe, but we're not going to franchise your recipe. And he knew what he wanted. And you know what? His coffin is probably lined with gold right now. But it was the determination, wasn't it, behind him?
Exactly. And if you think about authors, you know, people like Stephen King and J.K. Rowling, the first editor they went to, they were like, nah. And nah. And look at them now, you know, especially Stephen King is the most prolific writer, and he's still selling now. So it's always, you know, with something like a goal is, you are going to get knockbacks, but it's trying to focus on the end goal as much as you possibly can. And it takes 66 days to create a habit. And
really? Does it?
Yeah.
That is amazing. I'm stealing that one. I'm writing that down. 66 days to create a habit.
That is the average as well. It can take up to 254 days to create.
Well, I must have tripled that.
Some people it'll take a couple of days, some people it'll take more, but on average it's 66 days. So if you're setting a goal of something like, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to start healthy eating, if you're going to really commit to it, be aware that it might take this length of time before it starts feeling like a natural thing for you to do. And remember, okay, you know, I'm one more day closer to that 66 days for it to become a habit. And you know, it's realizing that actually there's so many things about your body that changes within those 66 days. So your whole body will do a brand new skin every 35 days. Wow. So even within that time, you will change. So it's that end goal again. It's that end goal, but you've got bits in the middle before you actually get there to try and kind of focus on, okay, you know, okay, so today I've got this, you know, my stomach's feeling less sick, or I can see the changes in my skin or my hair. My nails are growing faster if you want long nails. You know, things like that. It's recognizing those little wins, those small wins.
That's amazing. It's like I recently managed to withdraw because it was the right time for me to withdraw from my medication. But the one thing I really struggle with, and what I've actually replaced it with, is multivitamins at night time, is not taking a tablet. I'm like, ooh, I've missed something. And it's like, no, I'm going to just take a multivitamin. So, and that's what I do at night time, because I can't let that go after 15 years of being medicated. Yeah. I think that's going to take a while.
I think that's fair enough. I think that's you know, people giving up smoking, they will go into vaping and things like that, or fiddle with a pen or something like that, just because they've got that habit. You know, 15 years habit you've created there. But because you were able to kind of replace it, that's really worthwhile. And something else I wanted to say as well about goals, it does take a healthy dose of luck in some occasions, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to put the work in. You know, your goals are not going to take place by magic, unfortunately. Wish they could, that would be great. But you are going to have to put, you know, everything into it if that's what you really want. And actually then at the end you can say, rather than I'm so lucky, is actually I'm so blessed.
For working so blooming damned hard. So
hard, I deserve to reap the rewards of my hard work. You know, it wasn't handed to me on a plate. You know, I've been trying to, so, you know, so when I was at university, I was part-time and I was working full-time, running a household, supervision sessions. I was also doing counselling sessions for myself, because that's what you need to do when you're doing the course, doing essays, exams, eating, sleeping, breathing, and
partying,
and
traveling.
anyone saw me for 4 years. And so now that I'm at the stage of a job that I completely love, you know, well, lucky to have, not lucky, blessed to have 2 jobs that I love, you know, and I will constantly correct myself like I did just then. I'm not lucky. I put the hard work in, and enjoy it and appreciate it and be pleased that this is where I am. So yeah, never say that you're lucky, always say that you're blessed, because, you know.
So you could, like, you know, people have touched upon this with me, and, you know, people like, you know, like The Secret, the book, The Law of Attraction and things like that. I'm going through like a wellness master your mindset, and it's another CIC have created this, and it's brilliant. So it's Monday and Thursdays, and it's half an hour. But basically, you were saying exactly what you were saying this morning. It's all about your choice, you know, whether you choose to go for it or whether you choose to remain static. And that, you know, if you want to ask the you know, the law of attraction, then you can ask by all means, but you've got to act as well upon it. It's not just, like you say, gonna hand to you on a plate. And sometimes it's about being able to say, like for me, example, let go of what you know, because that's your comfort blanket that's not doing any good for you. And then your mind starts to clear and you're like, "Ooh, I've never looked outside these curtains before, isn't it pretty?" Oh, there's a rabbit with a white tail. Oh. I'm not on mushrooms, I promise.
Yeah, no, it's funny you should say that, really, because there's a fable that I really, really love. And I'm not hugely religious. I'd say I was more spiritual. But this does involve God, and it makes me smile every time. So it goes like this. So a man goes to the top of a mountain and asks God and says, "Please, God, please, please, let me win the lottery." And he hears nothing. So the following day, he goes back up to the mountain and says, "Please, God, please, let me win the lottery." And he hears nothing. So he goes back every day and asks the question every single day. And finally, God turns around to him and says, "My dear child, I love you. I will give you anything you want, but please, please, buy a lottery ticket."
Perfect. Absolutely perfect analogy. That is brilliant. That is so true, though, isn't it? It really is. If you don't act upon it, then you've not got a chance, have you? That's the analogy behind that story, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
There was my mentor from New Leaf is amazing as well. He was talking to me a little bit about like anxiety, and there was a boy, and he said, you know, if you work, I'll have to put it properly out, but the thing is the end goal was you can choose to either be anxious, to feed the anxiety, or you can choose to feed it positivity instead. But that, for me, I will definitely find it and put it on there, because I just thought, wow, brilliant. So again, it's just all about that choice, isn't it?
It is. It's all about the choice. You know, we can set as many goals as we can. You know, you can set hundreds and hundreds, but actually putting the work into it, that's the hard part. And it's like you do need to believe in yourself that you can do it. And I think that's as much of a difficulty as actually attaining the goal themselves, because if you don't believe you can do it, you won't. It's a self
Instantly failed, haven't you?
Absolutely. You know, if you don't believe it, you won't do it. And it was funny actually, because I was talking to Emma earlier on.
Oh no, I'm gonna hide.
No, we were saying like, we should talk about what you're going to say so we're not repeating ourselves. But it's funny, we both thought of the same thing, and we said a goal without a plan is just a wish. So
That is amazing.
it's great to have goals. It's absolutely fantastic to have them, but actually needing to put them in place, put something in place, know that you are believing in yourself, put small actions in place as well to get to that goal. Drop that idea, I've said this on my page, but drop the idea that you need to be a masterpiece right now. You can be
That
a
was
work
beautiful.
in progress.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
It's true though.
Oh man. Yeah.
You can be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. And how beautiful is that if we all start believing that, yeah, I can be absolutely brilliant, as well as working on extra things about myself. So, start small, start with attainable ideas and goals, make them smart, make these small ones to get to your main goals, and just,
reward yourself as well when you've got to them.
Yeah. Enjoy it. Enjoy that win for yourself. Enjoy that hard work that you've put behind it, and go, I did that. I'm really good. And celebrate it. Celebrate it with people that you care about. Celebrate it on Facebook. Celebrate it any way you can that makes you feel really good, because you deserve it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you know what's come to me is the famous phrase, Rome wasn't built in a day. But actually, when I went to Rome, I was lucky enough to go into the Vatican City, and I went to the Sistine Chapel.
Oh, wow.
And as you'll know, Michelangelo started in one top of the corner, and he wasn't an artist, he was a sculptor. So he didn't paint or draw. But you can see this amazing craftsmanship where he's like started off and then he's just got better and better and better. So it's just, it was funny. The Rome police were there and they were like, no, you must not take pictures. Well, I didn't, promise, but there were people like that. But it was stunning, absolutely stunning. And that to me is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Keep going, keep believing it, reward yourself.
Yeah. That is, it's like going back. So like I tried to become a vegan in January, but just before Christmas. I've maintained being a vegetarian, but there are like certain things that I just think, well, I won't eat as much as it. So like cheese, but I want cheese on my spaghetti bolognese. So it's better that I'm not using mincemeat, and I've got nothing against anybody who wants to eat meat. It's just a personal preference of mine. And so I'll use Quorn instead of mincemeat. I tell you though, if you're going to try it, you need to get the burgers from Tesco's. They're plant-based burgers. Oh my God, that was like eating a cow. It really is. But it's about making choices, isn't it? Arnold Schwarzenegger said in the end, the Game Changer, it's called, on Netflix. He said, if you could just make the small change to start with in your diet once a week, give it a go. I'm not saying don't be meat free completely, but just give it a go. And I think that's when you start to develop them pathways in your head and go, oh yeah, we'll try this a bit more.
Yeah, definitely, it will be. And kind of sort of going on from what you were saying, that you kind of tried to be vegan but it didn't really work out so much. Don't punish yourself if anything does happen like that. It's a natural setback. It's natural. It happens, especially in these crazy times. I'm not going to mention what's happening, but in the crazy times.
What's that? What's going on?
Something just a little bit. It is going to be harder for people to maintain certain goals and certain resolutions, I suppose. It's not going to be as easy for us to do that. And it's not about thinking, oh, I've fallen off the wagon. It's like, oh, I let one foot go off the wagon. I'm not completely off. I've just had a piece of chocolate cake. Oh, well, I've had a piece of chocolate cake. Move on. You know, if you're going to sit and wallow in it, that's when it gets bad. That's when it kind of pushes you far back. But accepting, yeah, okay.
And you start doing more of it, don't you?
Of course you do, because you start feeling bad and you start feeling guilty, and you think the only way I'm going to stop feeling guilty is to make myself feel better. How am I going to make myself feel better? I'm going to have another piece of chocolate cake. So it is that constant, you know, seeking that reward when actually you're not doing what you want to do. So you're rewarding the wrong behavior, but not punishing yourself either. You know, just be aware we're all human. We all make mistakes, we all mess up. And that's okay.
Absolutely. We wouldn't learn, would we, from any sort of mistake or any bad decision we may have made or something we're not comfortable with. You know, it's not about, like you say, beating yourself up. There's obviously a reason behind why it didn't work, and that's what you have to look at. But just go, well, actually, let's tweak it and try it a bit differently this time. So.
Definitely. Be curious about what happened. Think, am I just feeling a bit rough today? You know, and sit with those. And I'm going into counselling mode now, but kind of sitting with those emotions for a little while. You know, okay, I'm feeling angry. Why am I feeling angry? What is it that's happening that's making me feel angry? I'm not attaining what I want to attain, and it's making me feel annoyed. Okay, so what can I do about that? What kind of small thing can I do? And just be curious rather than annoyed with yourself. You know, be understanding. Treat yourself like a friend. Say this to everyone. Treat yourself like a friend. If you wouldn't say it to your best friend or your daughter or your parents or, you know, your favorite person in the whole world, why would you say it to yourself?
Yeah, exactly. You're so right. You really are.
I am.
And you know, I love that. I do. I met somebody the other day and I was out dog walking and she was like, well, I'm going to celebrate my my achievements. And I was like, and so you should. That's what we need to start doing. Celebrate what you have achieved because you worked damned hard for it.
Yep, absolutely. Brilliant.
Rachel, you're just a love. You're just such a love. I just thank you so much for you've got 2 jobs. You've taken some time out to be with us today, and you know, I'm sure that if anyone's got any questions, if they replay, you know, we can both answer them together. But I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. You're an absolute diamond.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You'll be back. You'll be back. I'll be back. Talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have a lovely evening, and I think the next time we will be going to sort of organising something, it's going to be around animals and mental health, isn't it? So watch this space because that will be interesting and fun at the same time, and lots of
You know, people are working from home and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, that's my dog." I'm like, bring your dog up to the camera so I can say hi. You know, and people's cats kind of walk across the screen and stuff, and I'm like, hello. My voice just gets all high. But if it's a day, you know, hopefully I'll have Hecky, and you know, Hector can join because he is my mental health support in so many ways. You know, he's heaven. He is just, especially through lockdown and stuff, he's made me get out of bed, and he's made me go for a walk, made me get fresh air, and it's so important, you know, for sure.
Where are you? Come here. Hi. Come here. Come and say hello. Come and say hello then. Right on cue. Your pup. He's like, no, don't pick me up. I'm too small.
Oh,
oh.
I love your face so much.
Yeah. So famous, aren't you, darling? So famous. He's very naughty. He swears a lot in TikTok videos. So
I see. It's very.
I don't know.
He's just got the best face. I remember when you adopted him, it's like, no, you have to get him. And they're like,
but talk about mental health support. You're mine, aren't you, son? Yay! Right, you can go down now. That's enough about you. Rachel, have a lovely, lovely evening, darling. We will talk very soon.
much.
We will definitely create an event, because I think, animals are so important to you, so important to me, so important to so many people, and I just think we can have a lot of fun with it, especially in lockdown still. So
so much fun. Chaos, but absolutely brilliant.
we'll be like Sherpas, won't we, herding cats and dogs, like, come on!
Brilliant. Well, thanks for having
I
me.
like the look of that one. Just put that in my bag. Oh no, thank you for coming on. Thank you. Appreciate it right from the bottom of my heart. So yes. Look after yourself, stay safe, and good night, darling.
Loads of love.
Take care, Rach. Bye, love. Bye bye.